Let's talk about Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter. Very polarizing character, and he gets ever more polarizing. But start off with this article on BBC News. I used the BBC one because it was everywhere and this covers it, so it covers the basics. It gives me something to leave off. Now, Jack Dorsey has been criticised for promoting Myanmar, aka Burma. Now, obviously, it's semi-local news for me because it's just over there, it's on the border. A lot of Burmese workers here, where I am at the moment in Railway. There was a few years ago, I remember. You see him. There was a huge workers' camp, like just down the road from here. I remember 3 years ago. I don't know if it's still there or not. I expect it is. A lot of refugees have fled from Burma. Jack Dorsey has been criticised for promoting Myanmar as a tourist destination despite widespread allegations of human rights abuses in the country. Now, these allegations, it's like, I guess that's a politically correct way to go about it, but as far as everyone knows, it's like, it's not really allegations, it's they are abusing people's human rights. Burma's got form for it. For many years there was two hermit nations, North Korea and Burma, or Myanmar, whichever. I'm going to call it Burma, it's just easier to say Burma. I remember there was a documentary that came out a few years ago called, 8 years ago now, Burma Video or something like that, because the press freedoms were completely suppressed out there. And a lot of journalists, there's this underground network of journalists who were making videos of the stuff that was going on there, and they managed to sneak it out the country, and the documentary filmmakers put together. Turn that down a bit. Put together a documentary of compilations of all these different things going on. Pretty raw out in Burma, what's been going on. Before we go into this, just to note, Burma has the longest running civil war. Now, not a lot of people know that. Before I found that out, I always thought the longest running civil war at the moment was in Colombia, which is 40 years. Burma's has been going for about 60 years, I think. But we'll corroborate that soon. They've had a very long going civil war in Burma. It's tough out there, baby. It's tough out there. But they've criticised Jack Dorsey because he went on, he travelled around northern Burma last month for a meditation retreat. Well, that's what's like someone like Jack Dorsey would do, wouldn't it? No, I'm knocking meditation. So I bet he meditates, but he doesn't do it properly. The people are full of joy and the food is amazing. I expect where he went, I expect in the touristy parts they're full of joy. I don't know. Before encouraging his 4 million followers to visit. Imagine you're Jack Dorsey and you're like top dog at Twitter and you've only got 4 million followers. That must really suck. I remember on MySpace there was that guy. Who was the MySpace guy? MySpace man. What was his name? Who was it? Yeah, him. Who was that? You had to be friends with him. Tom from MySpace. Remember that? Everyone was friends with Tom. And they even created an evil Tom to see if they could get him more friends than he had, or followers, or whatever it was on I can't remember what it was. It was followers or friends. But by default, you were friends with them. Why didn't Jack Dorsey go? Everyone follows me. You have to follow me. Why didn't he do that? Maybe he's just a really cool guy. Some accused him of ignoring the plight of the Muslim Rohingya minority. Now, this is where I start to have issues. For one, Jack Dorsey went to northern Burma, Myanmar, and it's a place that has no one's seeking out to travel there. Yeah, okay, and tourism helps a lot of countries. You know, you always wonder why there's not a lot of investment in Africa, because Africa gets given such a it's got such bad PR. You know, think of every 2 years you got Comic Relief saying, "Look at everyone in Africa, it's fucked." It's like, no, Africa's got a lot going for it. You know, it's bad PR. I think a lot of people don't realise it's bad PR. And you know, I mean, Burma's it's choppy there, but he came back alive. Although he's a millionaire, so it's probably easier to stay alive when you're a millionaire. It just is. You can employ armed guards and shit. But you know, put a positive light on somewhere that has a lot of negative image can be beneficial for them in the long run. I don't see the problem with him promoting, like, it's got great people, the food's great, you know, there's natural beauty. I'm sure there's like so much unspoiled beauty there because it's just not a tourist trap. Same as Haiti. I seen there was a guy who did documentaries just traveling around the Caribbean, and he went to this beach in Haiti, and it was absolute paradise, but no one goes there. And it's like, well, we should fucking go there because no one goes there, because obviously it's Haiti. Haiti's got such a bad reputation. So much bad stuff has happened in Haiti, but there's paradise there. It has so much potential. It's a shame, and I think more people should promote the beautiful aspects of these countries that have bad reputations. It can only be good in the long run. Okay, but obviously Twitter's Twitter, and it's woke as fuck. So you know, Jack Dorsey should be in Burma criticising it. That's what you should be doing. There's plenty of stuff to criticise where I am right now, but you know, there's certain things you can't criticise because it get you fucking banged up in jail. Like, people's ignorance of the world, it astonishes me. It really does. Certain things you can't say. Okay? It's called PR, bitch. One thing that does annoy me about when they keep talking about Burma and the problems that it's having, they always refer to the Muslim Rohingya people, who have had a fucking raw deal with it. Yes, there's been a lot of ethnic cleansing going on, but they're not. But I don't know why they keep, because it's like one of the only examples a lot of people can find where Muslims are persecuted on that level. Whereas there's, I think on one side of the coin, you know, a lot of people say that Muslims are persecuting people. You know, you look at how the Christians are treated in Egypt, it's shocking. There's examples like that, so they're sort of using it as an example of, you know, terrorism against Muslims, I guess. And that's the narrative they try to spin on it, which is not good, because basically they're not, it's not just that's not just the thing. They've just had the worst of it recently. But you're talking about a conflict that's been going on for a hell of a long time. Okay. Like I said, longest running civil war that we know of. That we know of, as if there's some sort of secret civil war. Well, they might be. Who knows? Now, if you look at the ethnic groups of Myanmar, aka Burma, I don't like countries that have two names. I'm going to Ho Chi Minh City on Wednesday, otherwise known as Saigon. Like, what? Everyone still refers to it as Saigon, but it's Ho Chi. But if you want to book a flight there, Ho Chi Minh, it's like, why do you have to have two names? Like you're fucking, I don't know, like you're Eminem. Why? I have a problem with it. Okay, I don't like it. Myanmar's culture is dominated by the Bama people. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Might be. Who comprise of more than 2/3 of the country's population. So the majority of people are Bama people. Now, they are the majority, and as far as I know, the Bama people are like the ruling class. So they're mainly found in areas near the Irrawaddy and Sitang rivers. Rice and fish are their favourite diet. That's great. Puppetry is a common way of entertainment used in shows and festivals. That's all very interesting. So they're practicing Buddhists. Bama speak Burmese, the official language of Myanmar. Now, and then you got the Shan, you got the Karen, and the Rakhine, the inter-ethnic relations. And you've also got Mons, and some Chinese, and there's loads of other groups. As far as I know, there's like 20 or so groups, different ethnic groups. But one group is in charge, and they kind of look down there, and from what I've gathered, if you try and this is really problematic with Google, because trying to search, I've only ever seen a couple of documentaries about this. Oddly enough, one was by Al Jazeera that gave a very balanced portrait of the civil war in Burma. And go away, Microsoft Update, piss off, mate. Don't be doing this whilst I'm busy, excuse me. Yeah, by Al Jazeera sort of commenting on it, and trying to find like some written text about it is hard on Google, because they have, their algorithm says that it's the Rohingya people you should only be concerned about. Not that you shouldn't be concerned about it, but like I said, they're playing this narrative, and it's not the full story. Okay, there's one group in charge, and they're being fucking mean to everybody, like looking down their noses at other groups. So the fighting in Kachin highlights Myanmar civil war worries. So this is an article from earlier this year. So thousands of civilians remain displaced in northern Myanmar, and renewed fighting in recent weeks, many with little access to aid, bringing fresh concerns that the country's peace process has stalled under the current government. Now, as we know, the lady who's in charge of Burma, who's, she's given Nobel Peace Prize, and she was under house arrest. She was seen as the beacon of the future for Burma. Well, they're now stripping her of that prize and saying that she is just completely failed. So that's good. So fighting between the Myanmar army known as the Tatmadaw and the Kachin Independence Army. So that's the Kachin. That's what the second or third biggest ethnic group they got there, has seen local residents flee in at least 3 townships in the Kachin state in recent weeks. Local sources told VOA, so this is VOA News, I'm not familiar with them, well, 150 people have been unable to leave an area of heavy fighting near Hupakant, a remote area renowned for the quality of its jade. I like jade, so maybe Jack Dorsey bought some nice jade there. He might have done, didn't he? David Borg, a human rights specialist with Fought for Rights, said thousands have been displaced by fighting the past month. A lot of Kachin state is a war zone right now, and that's what's leading to people run for their lives. The real issue when it comes to displacement in Tanai and other areas of Kachin state is that Myanmar government continues to systematically prevent aid groups from visiting these areas to provide basic services to people. So Nut Otsby, the United Nations resident humanitarian coordinator in Myanmar, released a statement last week condemning the latest violence in Kachin. I appeal to all parties to the conflict to allow displaced people and other civilians who remain in the areas of conflict to be permitted to move to a more secure location of their choice, and to allow for humanitarian assistance to reach these populations as a matter of urgency. So the government is already supporting humanitarian assistance for the Christians in the conflict. Yeah, there's Christians there too, man. Before referring further questions to the Ministry of Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement, who could not be reached for comment. So, and there's talk of war crimes. These are war crimes, but not one country has condemned these killings and promised to take action in response. Peace process is at a standstill. So as you can see, there's lots of different groups because it's a civil war, and there has been some cleansing. And as far as I know, the largest ethnic group in Burma view all other groups as inferior. That's how it is. So, it bothers me that they'd only concentrate on one group. All right, maybe they've had more atrocities and it's been worse for them recently, but they're all getting it. That's the thing, they're all getting it. So I don't like the way they play narratives. Like, it's comment on all of what's going on. Yeah. Comment on everything. Paint the bigger picture and say, this regime are fucking assholes. I mean, look at the history of this conflict. In the course of, so after there was national liberation, the Shan, Kachin and Chin, so that's three of their three ethnic groups there, they signed the historic Panglong Agreement in 1947 with Burma as a separate political entities and gained joint independence together with the Burman from the British in 1948. Thus, it should be clear from the outset that the country we all know as Burma or Myanmar, as termed by the Burmese military regime, is quite a new political entity or a country made up of at least three countries. So you got the Burma proper, the Karenni state and the Shan states. The Shan and the Karenni joined Burma in their struggle for determination from the British and jointly attained independence in January 4th, 1948. So it's kind of a divided country. During this formation period, the Arakan, Chin, Kachin, Karen and Mon were not yet assigned to the administrative status of states. However, in 1962, the Burmese military seized state power. So I think it's supposed to say seized state power. Come on. In a coup and declared the Union of Constitution abolished. In so doing, the Burmese terminated the only existing legal bond between them and other ethnic nationalities. The declaration of the suspension of the Constitution was in effect a self-denunciation that Burma had overnight become an aggressor nation instead of a partner. Thus, in legal constitutional sense, the Union of Burma ceased to exist. The Burmese military regime has been attempting to hold the defunct union together by sheer military force, whilst the real and only solution is political. The Shan and the Karenni, on their part, have been waging a war of resistance to free themselves from the Burmese oppression and dominance. This is also true for the other non-Burmese ethnic groups. So yeah, so you got the Burmese, so-called Burmese ethnic groups, like the main Burmese ethnic group. They're in charge. So they're being subjected to the Burmese military's Burmanization and forced assimilation. So basically, if you're not like, and it's been like this since fucking the 40s, if you're not like the rest of the Burmese, like what they consider to be Burma, if you're not like them, then they're beating you down. That's it. Due to the fact that the Shan and Karenni joined the Union of Burma on equal political footing, whereby both nations were constitutionally granted or enjoyed the right to secede after a trial period of 10 years following the attainment of joint independence from the British, the non-Burman ethnic nationalities occupy 50% of the landmass and have a population of 40% by conservative estimation. Real issues behind the conflict. To understand the ethnic conflict, it is essential to look into the issues of conceptual differences, constitutional crisis, national identity, majority-minority configuration, and other pressing issues like human rights violations, drugs, and environmental management. Yes, at one point, Burma were the biggest producer of opium in the world, and they had an army of 25,000 or so, I believe, backing up. Like, there was no drug organization like that. Not as talked about as much as other ones, you know. You talk about talking tanks and shit guarding heroin. Before the Afghan war, they were in charge, man. So, conceptual differences. The successive military-dominated regimes, including the ruling SPDC, see Burma as an existing unified nation since the reign of the Anarafa thousands of years ago. As such, all other non-Burmans, or Burmese, like the Shan, the Kachin, the Chin, the Akanese, the Mon, the Karen and the Karenni, are seen as minorities, which must be controlled and suppressed lest they break up the country. On the other hand, the non-Burmans maintain that the Union of Burma is a newly developed territorial entity found by a treaty, the Panglong Agreement, where independent territories merge together on equal basis. Given such conceptual differences, the Burmese military goes about with its implementation of protecting national sovereignty and national unity at all cost. This in turn gives way to open conflict, resulting in more suppression and gross human rights violations. The intolerance of the military and its inspiration to racial supremacy. and to political domination and control has no limit, and this could be seen by its refusal to hand over power to the winners of the 1990 nationwide election, the NLD, SNLD and other ethnic parties. The general federalism platform which the NLD and ethnic nationalities embrace is a threat to its racist mindset and obsession with domination and control. So, constitutional crisis, national identity. The views of successive Burmese governments, including the present regime, the SPDC, concerning national identity has never been clear. They have been at a loss even as to what sort of name they should adopt. That is the reason why they are still using Burma and Myanmar, so it's the Burma people, as I said before, interchangeably for what they would like to be termed a common collective identity, in other words, national identity. The reality is that when one mentions Myanmar, Burma, Burmese or Burman, see this, they got too many ways of describing who they are, it's confusing. Such words are usually identified with the Lao and majority Burma, who have never been accepted or understood by the non-Myanmar nationals as a common collective identity to which they also belong. Meanwhile, just a few years back, the present Burmese military regime changed the name of Burma to Myanmar. See, I just hate when they do that. Its aim is to create a national identity for every ethnic group residing within the boundary of the so-called Union of Myanmar. But since the name Myanmar has always been identified with the lowland Burma, the SPDC's effort in trying to establish a common national identity among the non-Burma ethnic nationals is only doomed to fail. On top of that, national identity was chosen with the consent of the non-Burma ethnic groups, but coercively thrust down their throats by the hated Burmese military dictatorship. This writer has never heard anyone mentioning that he or she is a Burma Myanmar, Shan Myanmar, Kachin Myanmar, Karen Myanmar, and so on. In the United States, by contrast, it is normal that one considers or accepts oneself as an American, such as the use of Chinese American, Japanese American, Afro American, and so on, are common and widespread. Another crucial point that most tend to overlook is the maintenance of the former European colonial boundaries as irreversible and sacrosanct national state boundaries. This in reality only creates unending ethnic conflicts the world over, affecting international stability. Burma is such a case, infested with ethnic and social conflicts. The point to note here is that the successive Burmese government's nation building process has totally shattered, failing even to take root after all these years. Not to mention the forging of common national identity, it would be more pragmatic to accept the existing diversified national identities of all ethnic nationalities as a fact and work for a new common identity in the future federal union with the consent and participation of all ethnic groups, Burman included. And here we go on to drugs. Human rights violations. I mean, this is the important part, isn't it? In the absence of firm data, most estimates of Burma's internally displaced population remained at about 600,000 to 1 million. The most recent estimate of displacement in Karen state alone was 200,000. So that's sources of UN Commission on Human Rights. That was in 2002. A report from Shan Human Rights Foundation titled Charting the Exodus from Shan State, covering the period of 1997 to 2002 writes, in April 1996, large numbers of Shan refugees from the areas of forced relocation started arriving in Thailand. By May 1996, already an estimated 20,000 refugees had fled to Thailand. The flow of refugees continued until by March 1998, it was estimated that about 80,000 refugees had fled to Thailand dispossessed. Now, in June 2002, SHRF and SWAN estimated the total of Shan refugees in Thailand have reached over 150,000 since 1996. So, obviously there's some opinion put in there, well, a bit of, but look, what I'm saying is, the concentration on the Muslim minority, the Rohingya minority. Sorry, I forgot it. I don't like the way that, like I said, I don't like the way that that's people playing their game on making you look at a country and go, oh, this is the problem there. It's like, no, you've just heard that there is serious racial divide there. And you've got one group of people who are in power, have been in power for a long time. They thought those days were over. They are not. And they consider everyone else not to be as good as them. I said it, racial discrimination. This isn't religious discrimination. It's not Islamophobia. This is proper ethnic hatred. There's one group that think they're superior, and then there's a whole load of other stuff mixed in there, and there's a civil war between loads of different groups. That's what they should be talking about. If you want to talk about what's going on in Burma, talk about the people that are in charge are just a bunch of buggers to everybody that isn't them, okay? But no, you've got, because it's Twitter and because it's the hate mob and because it's this, you've got to just talk about this one group of people that have had a really fucking shit time. And there's others who are having a shit time. And like I said, first time I really delved into this, I was watching an Al Jazeera documentary of all people, the Muslim network. That was more open, it was more balanced portrayal of all the conflicts, of all the different groups being persecuted. So why is people in the West why are people in the West concentrating on one group of people, and yet you go to the Middle East and they are talking about all of them? It says a lot, doesn't it, about this thing we got going on now. The establishment and the media thrusting Muslim fear down our necks for almost 20 years, and then they turn around and tell us, oh no, they're not, you shouldn't be afraid of them anymore. You should be afraid of white nationalists, or God knows what. Come on, son, stop playing that game. So obviously Jack Dorsey's had everyone turn on him. Look, can the guy not go on a nice holiday and say it was alright? Can a man not have a holiday and say it was fine? I think, yo, I went to Burma, yeah, I had a really nice time. Is that okay? Does anyone mind if I had a nice time in Burma? I've got a problem with that. Christ. Forget going on a holiday, mate. If any of you are planning on going on a holiday that has any problems, any country that has any problems, forget about it. Which is every country on planet Earth. I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful country. Like, how many times have you seen a high-profile person say Myanmar or Burma is an absolutely beautiful country, the people are full of joy and the food is amazing? I've never heard anyone say that. I don't want to defend Jack Dorsey. I think he's a bit of an idiot, but like, you can't. Oh no, you must speak out. Like, why do we have to always speak out about the negative stuff that's going on when, you know, promoting the positive has longer-term benefits? Like I said, that's the first time I've seen anyone big up Burma that's like kind of famous or well known. Big up Burma and make you think, like, I could hop over to Burma tomorrow if I wanted. Now, before seeing these photos and hear him talk about Burma, I would have no intention of going to Burma because all I know is negativity. But Jack Dorsey says it was alright, and so I'm like, oh, that's not far. Did you just drive into Burma? And it's cheap as chips there as well. Do you see the positives here? But no. The UN has described, look what it says here. We've already been through it. The UN described the operation as textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Like I said, they're doing it to everybody. Look, they don't like a lot of people. People in charge are assholes. Okay, motherfuckers. Right. What else? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. I just wanted people to know a bit more about Burma. And look, there's plenty. Just look up Al Jazeera. It's like a half-hour thing. They got their own version of Unreported World, Al Jazeera, and it's not too bad. It's all right. It's all right. Credit where credit's due, and it's in English, so that's good. Don't have to read subtitles for those of you that are, feel sick to the stomach of reading subtitles because you're idiots.